Overcome the 4 H's. Janine is a single mom to an 8-year-old little boy and calls Somerset West home. She has made a successful career in real estate, having been in the industry for 8 years, and is currently an enthusiastic team leader to her brand. She enjoys yoga, horse riding, hiking, and any other general outdoor activities.
Some of us are terrified of the 4 H's: helplessness, heartache, humiliation, hopelessness. And what becomes our initial focus when faced with one of these 4 beasts? The huge wall we build in front of ourselves, blocking out any sign of hope. We start to doubt ourselves. We start to question our value, and we're left wondering, how am I going to get through this? Yet I have faced all 4 and conquered them. It was a dark and stormy night, the night of my car accident. No, really, it really was a dark and stormy night. I veered my car off a steep decline, hit a tree, and flipped it on its roof. I woke up confused and disorientated, but managed to pull myself from the wreckage and call for help. The worst of my injuries was my head injury, where I needed 25 stitches to reattach my scalp that had been removed from my head without anesthesia. Somewhere between the severe pain and the trauma, I could feel my body giving up. And all I can remember thinking was, please, God, please don't let me die. And then nothing. Helplessness is a very dark and isolating place to be. This might sound weird, but life begins when you die. I cannot describe to you what it felt like to wake up and realize that I was alive. This was my moment. This is when everything would change. A couple of months later, I went overseas and spent the best 4.5 years of my life traveling and living in the UK. I came home, I married the love of my life, and we had a beautiful little boy. Life could not have been more perfect. But then, the proverbial rug was pulled out from under me. My marriage ended, and I was left feeling like an absolute failure. Heartache and humiliation completely took over. But then I remember looking at my little boy and realizing that I owed it to him to be a better version of myself. That feeling sorry for myself wasn't going to build the life that I had envisioned. Fast forward, March 2020. I was just starting to get on top of my game. And then, my fellow South Africans, we had been placed under level 5 lockdown. As the days rolled into never-ending weeks, I was facing limited income, but compounding debt. And as I stared into the abyss, all I could keep thinking about was how hopelessness started feeling like an uninvited guest that didn't want to leave. Yet, I was determined that nothing, and nobody was going to take away what I had worked so hard for. 3 months later, we finally returned to work. And for the next 7 months, I worked the hardest I had ever worked in my life. And by January 2021, not only was I on top of my debt, but I was named #1 rental partner nationally for the franchise I was with. You see, a near-death experience changed the trajectory of my life. Helplessness could not defeat me, because when I woke up in that hospital bed, I realized that I am the cause and effect of my life, and I made the conscious decision to change it. And that change certainly didn't make me immune to heartache and humiliation. But what it did teach me was that it was no longer about what was happening, but how I was going to react. And that pandemic, that taught me what I am capable of, because I chose to rise above the hopelessness and not allow it to consume me. Honestly, it really doesn't matter what age you're facing in your life right now. What matters is how you're going to react. Listen, you own your life in this moment right now by how you're going to choose to react to whatever it is you're facing right now. By turning obstacles into opportunities, you get to decide the final outcome and get to create the most beautiful H's of your life: health, happiness, harmony, and hope. And like me, you too can conquer those 4 H's.